Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good evening and welcome to Rethink Politics Repo, where we talk about the current issues in politics and just opinions on pretty much the bullshit that we have to deal with on a daily basis. So I have my co-host on, Chaz, Sir Django. What's going on, brother?
What's up? What's up? Just another day and we're alive, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Good.
that's a plus. We're on the top side of the world right now.
Yeah.
So
War hasn't erupted just yet.
Not yet. How was your holiday, bro?
It was good. I was South Georgia. I'm near a military base, so did some shopping on post. So that was nice. I didn't know you don't have to pay taxes when you're on post. So
No, that's that. I forgot what they call it, but yeah, you can buy all types of liquor and all of that, and it's no tax, duty free. That's what it's called, duty free.
okay, so it's just like an airport, same idea.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, so it was not sexy. No flat screen, no super big purchase. Label maker.
Label maker, hey.
Work shoes.
That's that new shit. Whoa, that was cool. And our third co-host, E. What's going on, E?
Yo. Yeah, just living that Virginia DC life. Now, we just had a election a couple weeks ago. Turned out good for the good guys. So,
For the good guys, we got one for once.
Yeah, for once. Yeah, hopefully we can keep that up. Yeah. But
Just crazy. So how was your little holiday, man? Even though it was, I think you went from one point to another.
Yeah. No, I was all over the place. Anywhere I was up in New York, Jersey, went down to the Hampton, Newport News area. The in-laws had to jump back and forth from city to city, so I was kind of everywhere. So, but it was a good holiday for me, though.
Great, fantastic. Me, I didn't do much of shit. I just hung out at home and hung out with my moms. So it was good to be with my moms for most of the day. So pretty positive. But this, we haven't been on for a minute, but there was so much going on that we have to definitely jump into it. And one of the things, we're going to go with current and then we're going to go backwards. So one of the things I wanted to start with was North Korea. If you didn't know, North Korea shot a missile off today. It took them, 2 months or was it 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah.
2 months. Yeah. So they took a break, did some construction.
Refueled.
Right.
And launched. So, the threats went out prior to that. The ultimatums of if you do it one more time, thanks to Trump, there will be fire and fury, and then some other BS that was going on. But they tried it again. So guys, what do you think this means, or what do you think the repercussions will be?
I'll answer this first because I've been watching a lot of movies and whatnot lately. And I finally watched that movie on Netflix called War Machine. With Brad Pitt. And I thought, what is this? And it actually is a really great movie that just kind of talks about, in a nutshell, how the different generals come in and, how when you invade a country, it's hard to quote unquote do nation building. And just the original mission versus where we are now and how's a quagmire, and really there's not really many good solutions left.
So
and it just sustains itself. So the idea of you have Afghanistan, is if you just look at, okay, if we do this, there's North Korea, South Korea. Outside of, okay, you may have total annihilation. What will Iran do? Will there be an arms race? There's too many variables, I think, realistically to do it. So I forget. There was Afghanistan. What was the other country?
Afghanistan, Iran, and North Korea.
Well, in terms of the invasion, so toppled Saddam Hussein in
Right.
Iraq for some
Yep.
reason, and then
Mhm.
went to Afghanistan. And again, I think in 9/11, the guys who was from Afghanistan again or Iraq,
Um.
I think they all were from Saudis. They were all
Yeah, they
Saudi
was all
nationals, right?
Saudis, so there was a misdirect, and that's what they went from
You know,
there. So
Mhm.
fucking
right.
crazy.
So I'm just saying, but just a lot of blood and money later,
Mhm.
here we are, and it's just we really don't have any good solutions there. And
Yeah.
although the Middle Eastern culture is different than Korean, that part of the world's culture.
So
If
Yeah.
there was,
so,
I-
say what?
real quick though. So War Machine, that wasn't a satire. That was actually a drama.
Well,
yeah.
it was satire for sure, but I took it as all they were saying was at the end of the day, every new general that comes in thinks they're gonna save the war, win it or do this or do that.
Mhm.
And then, the politics of it just end up kind of like Stanley. I didn't know if they meant Stanley McChrystal, but I kind of took it as Stanley McChrystal in
Mhm.
Obama's early
Okay.
years,
Yeah.
and Stanley McChrystal ended up getting fired because he was talking shit.
Okay.
Right.
And from Obama's perspective, do you say we need to? What I like about the movie is it had the politician's perspective, the general's perspective, the soldier's perspective, the Afghan citizens. It
Mhm.
had everyone's point of view, and if you talk to one person, each one had a valid point.
Mhm.
So while I thought you can say it's satire or
Mhm.
whatever the case, I thought it presented like, okay, I never thought
Mhm.
about this
Okay.
aspect before.
Ye-
Because here, in the United States, you're like, what are we doing over? What are we doing? Does that matter? Does
Yeah.
that
I saw.
good for?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw the. I saw that movie too, and um, in terms of like how the U.S. treats war and nation building, it kind of what I felt when I saw that movie is it was almost as if they created roles for people. It was or like role players. It was like positions that everyone needed to take depending on the administration that was in or uh,
Yes.
depending on what group they're in or what unit they're
Okay.
with or nation they're in. So it took the lead of Brad Pitt, who I forget what who he was supposed to be. Maybe I think it was a made up character, but um, it was just pretty much someone that was going in and fulfilling what the generals wanted, what the president wanted, and what the secretary of defense wanted. So it was kind of like he wanted to do something himself, but
Hmm.
really it was he would even talk to what was it, the president of Afghanistan or
Yeah,
whoever he is.
President Karzai,
Yeah,
and
he
he
was
would be.
he was just okay. So you're gonna tell me this, you're gonna tell me that, right? Okay, well look, we got this going on already. Okay, hey, do you want to watch this TV? I'm watching TV right now, kind of thing. And it was
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like I already know what you're going to say, and this is how this works. Okay, we got this, and then it was just kind of one of those damn, is it just we go into war and then everything is just kind of like
like
you piece this
like what is at this point? What is the war, and what does a win look like? What does a loss look like?
right.
Like it became so gray. So when you're asking about North Korea, like I'm just looking at those two situations. Not to mention Libya, and other parts of the world. Like apparently, we may or may not, the United States may or may not be fighting a shadow war in Somalia. So, looking at North Korea,
Forgot about that.
um, I'm just, and I think like Iran is such an interesting, and I say interesting meaning like from a strategic perspective. Um,
Mhm.
would you? That's basically like you're gonna if something is done with North Korea, Iran is going to be validated in saying, okay, we need to do X Y Z to protect ourselves
Yep.
because Trump is
Yep.
crazy. And I forget if it was an NPR article, but China again is China and India,
Mhm.
so they have like tension going. China is trying to get resources for itself
Mhm.
and basically try to do things indirectly, like through proxy, from with Pakistan to impact India. So I
Mhm.
can only imagine. Well, if there was a war, first of all, that's going to be close to China. So how are they going to react? How will that impact trade? Trump at this point has shown that he's simple in terms of just wanting validation, and he got into
Yeah.
it with LeVar Ball,
Yeah.
right? We got to talk about that later. But just the fact that a father didn't say thank you, the president of the United States tweeted talking about he should have left some.
Well, he
dudes
wanted
and
to say he
teenagers
wanted to
in
leave
jail.
those niggas over there, but he was. I think somebody said,
We're not
"Don't
gonna-
say nigger," and he just missed out on that one. Yeah, yeah.
Publicly, right? So it just seems, and in summary, I would say is the pros versus cons are just, to me, like on a scale, especially for Trump, is just for him even. I don't see what would be gained. What would really be gained if
So
considering
here's the
all those
worst
other
part.
variables.
So in the last 2 hours, this is actually what's being tweeted out. So Trump says, "No worries, we will take care of it." Last 2 hours, and
I
then
saw that.
Lindsey Graham, "If we have to go to war to stop this, we will." Are you fucking kidding me?
And it's like they're not going to war. They're not
Exactly. So we'll send a couple of people and just take care of it. Or we won't send anybody. We just send a bunch of bombs. So the problem with that, I'm going to go back to your China scenario, because China is allies with North Korea. So any type of blowback into China, you're putting yourself in jeopardy right there. So you doing something without letting China know that they're doing something, we're putting ourselves in jeopardy again. Any type of, and to me, if I'm North Korea, all my setups for missiles will be as close to South Korea as possible. So if you bomb where my missiles are, guess where else you're bombing? You're bombing South Korea. That's a dumb fucking decision to do unless you do ground forces. So, and that would actually be an invasion.
Yeah, the thing is, everything is tied together. It's you got forget the U.S. right now. So you got South Korea, that is okay. Sure, they use the U.S. For their military forces for as an ally. But then you have North Korea on the border. You have China, that's pretty much like their margin. They're in between
And
from
Russia.
North Korea to China. And Russia. So China I think China actually understands or knows that if the U.S. could destroy North Korea if they wanted to, that's not even the issue, especially with South Korea's help. So it's kind of like China is kind of like everybody calm down, because they know the minute North Korea goes down, that they're going to get a bunch of refugees, they're going to get a bunch of destruction. I mean, that's probably more important. But then at the same time, you got South Korea that's right there, that can easily lose millions. I mean, forget just the war. It's just like accidental bombs just going off. I mean, you're just destroying their country. So go back to Trump and his administration talking all this shit. It's just, I don't understand how you can just talk like that, as if, I'm just going to say what I say because, I'm the U.S. and, nobody fucks with us. It doesn't register as even kind of a professional, for one. I mean, it's or knowledgeable, experience. You just don't do that. So I think when they launched that missile, and it's just in a theory that I have, I think it was in response to Trump talking shit when he was in South Korea. What was it, like last week?
He's, what did he say, short and fat? That's something else.
Yeah. Or he tweeted it or something. Or I know he was
bullshit,
just in South Korea.
and then they was like, "This guy's crazy." He called him a crazy something back, and this is childish. This is childish behavior. And that's why the senators is like, somebody need to watch the kid. This is a adult daycare center.
Oh, yes. So, here's how crazy the things are. I forget if we talked about this previously, but why did, like, the fact that you have one of the nuclear military officials basically saying, depending on the nature of the request of the president,
Yep.
I could resist.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah.
y'all remember
A
that?
general.
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that.
I actually heard they were having some Senate. They were having some Senate review to
Yes.
discuss whether or not they can overrule or presidential. Like if Trump basically said, "I want to nuke somebody, anybody," it's whatever that's called, that protocol. They're
Mhm.
questioning that. I think it was the senators. It was something that's going. I don't even know the status of that, but that was a big deal. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and they wanted to talk about that because that was the first time in like decades that they were actually like, okay, wait, we need to revisit.
Yeah, we need to
Right,
review this
right.
because
Yeah.
dude is unstable.
Right, because there's pretty much no in between. It's just him and the button, Trump and the button.
Yeah. Top nuclear general says he would refuse Trump's order to drop a bomb on North Korea if
Yeah.
he disagree with the move.
Yeah, but he
That's
says
good,
it
though.
ahead of time.
That's the thing.
So
You-
if they try to
That's the only.
actually convict him or that's treasonous, he was like, "Look, we have the right," and I'm going to use my military experience here. A military person can refuse a direct order if the direct order is illegal. So he put that
Yeah.
out there to let them know
Yeah,
if they do
Mhm.
some shit he requests us to do some bullshit out of the blue that is truly illegal, he can refuse to do that. So he was just prepping everybody.
Mhm.
Right.
Air Force General John Hyten. So I thought that was in itself extraordinary, just to say like he's the commander in chief,
He's
but
no commander in
let's
chief.
be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
these-
you're not commanding me.
So-
that's what it
So
said.
yeah, so Senator Corker from the Republican chairman, he's the Republican chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, said Bob Corker. Yep, said adult
Bob Corker,
daycare
right?
center.
No, he's the one who's been talking.
Oh,
Yep.
that was
He
the
was
one.
like, I'm not
Yeah.
running no
he's
more,
talking
so
mad shit.
fuck this dude. He said, look, y'all need to staff up because someone let the baby out or some shit like that. I was like, yeah, they going all in. But this is just ridiculous. And the reason why I wanted to start with that is because of this fact. The fact that when they said he better not do anything, but he shows up and still makes fucking crazy threats, just edge him on because he can. He has no intelligence whatsoever and global intelligence to say you shouldn't do things like this because it's going to affect more than, it's got nothing to do with you, China. It's nothing to do with you, South Korea. It's between me and North Korea. He doesn't get it.
Mhm.
It's
No, he
crazy
doesn't.
because I remember in our last, everybody been quoting, they've been quoting you, E, saying Mr. Trump, there's a difference between what did you say, whiskey and so they was tweeting me back
Oh,
with
yeah.
that comment and shit. I was
Bourbon.
like, but it's true. It's fucking true.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
Together. I mean, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
that's what it is.
Nah.
It's
You
just
got a
what-
Long Island
without the
iced tea or
tea
some
in it.
shit.
No, motherfucker, tea doesn't even go in there. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, can I?
You
Can I
mean
get a half
Arnold
and half?
Palmer? No, motherfucker. Damn.
Some
So yeah, so this is another
Yeah.
dangerous
I-
instance that just happened today, and then he puts it out there. We'll take care of it. So all the reporters is gonna be like, what do you mean by take care of it? What are you gonna do? Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, that bullshit. Oh,
yeah, all
God.
that vague double talk. You'll see, and it's just at this point, the
Yep.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she's just full of it. Chief of Staff John Kelly, I thought he was normal, but he's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
General Mattis, I'm on the fence about. I think he's normal,
Yeah.
relatively.
Wait, no, I'm thinking John. Wait, which one is that? Because I know John Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly.
He
So-
was also a general, right? He's a.
Well, which was the
Yeah,
one
he
that
was
said,
John Kelly, the retired Marine guy.
Obama didn't talk to my son. So that's Kelly, and then he lied.
That's
He
John
was
Kelly.
told to say
John Kelly,
that the
unfortunately-
congresswoman didn't even thank the FBI agents and everything, and they had a fucking film that made everyone stand up and say thank these people.
Yeah.
But he went out and said that with no prior knowledge. But because he's in step with these idiots, he had to say it. So you can't really trust that.
Yeah, I think he also said something about
Yep. He sure did.
Obama didn't call his son or something like that, and then I think they found out
So
something about
so it
he
was
did or
it was
so-
his wife. It was
it's
Obama's
it was
wife,
one of those
Michelle.
forced. Uh-huh.
I think they was somewhere, and she personally said,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry for your loss, my husband and I." Blah blah blah. But because he didn't make a physical call, they wanted to say, "You have to say this." So this puppeteer shit with people that's so ignorant that they gotta acquiesce to it tells me a lot about you. There's a lot of people who retired and say, "Look, I just fucking quit. I'm not doing this." But if these people are going to stick around and acquiesce to all of this, that tells me a lot about them. You know, like what's his name? The chief of not the chief of staff, the Secretary of State.
Well, but also, okay, Rex Tillerson, I don't know his angle because on one hand, he seemed like he's trying to kill the State Department, but there's obvious tension because they didn't send Ivanka, the daughter's going to India, but they didn't send any State Department staff.
Heard about that.
And in the White House, that was taken as like, oh, so yeah, y'all don't fuck with
Don't
Ivanka
fuck with
now,
us.
you know. So, and we can't forget about this. We H.R. McMaster, the White House National Security Advisor, and in quote intelligence of a quote unquote kindergartner, an idiot, and call him a dope. And this was reported in July. So in terms of military advice and counseling and uh, you, you know how much stock, how much. Well, it's kind of what Eric said last time. You know, they're probably trying to explain. You know, here are the variables. You know, if we do this, these things can happen, and you know, and he's trying to put it
Mental
together,
capacity.
but I don't think he just has the yeah,
Yeah.
because these are.
Idiots.
I mean, the thing about the presidency is you have to. It's so many sectors.
Yeah.
You have to understand real estate, healthcare, education, infrastructure, and how each one influences the other. And then think about things from a policy perspective, how it impacts the private sector, and vice versa. So you
Yeah.
have to understand so many different points of view in terms of, hey, I'm a corporation. Hey, I'm a small business. Hey, I'm just a startup. I'm just me. You know, I'm an individual contractor. So, um,
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think they think that way at all. I think it's
what do you mean?
inside out. I mean, not that they're not supposed to. I think they're supposed to think bigger. About every sector, about every piece, or at least have the experience around them of people, knowledgeable people that understand how different aspects or different units or groups and sectors around the country and the government, how they work. I mean, whether it's foreign relations, international affairs, domestic issues.
Mhm.
I mean, you need people that just
Who gets
simply
it? They just
understand,
get it.
like just
Yeah.
this get that this is how the
Government.
yeah, this is how real estate works, or this is how the financial institutions work in this country, and this is how credit card companies are killing people with these different fees. The thing,
So,
the,
so Eric,
I'm jumping
as,
domestic and international, but
as
mhm.
chief of staff, you would just have a bunch of documentaries and cartoons.
Yeah,
Who's the I'm a
schoolhouse.
Bill? Who did Schoolhouse Rock
Yeah,
videos?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I'm a
just a bill. Yes,
I'm a
I'm only
bell.
a
I
bill.
forget how it
That's
went.
how I fucking learned. That's the only way I
Yeah.
learned that
Yeah.
shit. And I was like, no, it's got to go through different fucking departments. the 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 president, and then Trump thought he can do that.
Yeah.
That's why he's doing these executive orders, because he doesn't understand that true bills got to go through Congress.
Well, Obama did that too,
Yeah.
though.
Well, no, they got the right to do that. I'm not saying
Right,
that they
right, right.
don't have the right to do that,
Mhm.
but if you're not getting cooperation, he's not even trying to cooperate with them.
Oh,
He's just
yeah.
saying, do what I want because
True.
I'm the
Yeah.
king.
Obama didn't go in thinking, wait a minute, You mean to tell me?
I can't make an executive decision to.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you
Yeah.
didn't know that?
Yeah, I mean,
This guy.
what I'm saying is like Obama. I mean, we all know why. Okay, Obama. First of all, he was the president at a time where there was a Republicans, for at least the second. I think it was the second term.
Yeah, the second. Yep.
Controlled the House and the Senate, or at least the. I think it was just the
Mhm.
House, if I remember right. But he couldn't pass anything literally. You know what I mean? So it was different. It was like, okay, I honestly, this is a common sense law that I'm trying to pass, but unfortunately, I can't get it passed. But I'm going to make this happen. It's a totally different thing. He actually gave Congress a chance to take a look at an issue. While Trump, it's just, oh fuck it, let's go. We're gonna ban
Day
Muslims.
one.
I don't care. Boom, I'm signing.
Yep.
Look at my
Fuck the
thing.
rule.
Day
Yeah.
Take a
one.
picture of this. Everybody stand behind me. It's a totally different,
Yeah.
like, direction that he's going. It's just no respect, no professionalism, in my opinion. You know what I mean, on how he's
Mhm.
handling that. So, I mean, I think Trump just is. I just think he's trying to get a win. I mean, he tries to get a win when he's not even doing anything. You got. Uh-huh.
At the expense of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
everyone,
was gonna say.
though.
North
At the
Korea
expense, like this
blasting
tax
off
bill.
missiles,
Yeah.
and it's just all talk. It's no, we need to stop. We need to.
Yeah, it's like, bro, this is not Tupac and Biggie.
You can't
It's
not
not
the East
a
West
rap
and
wars.
win.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, like he's
Right,
gonna make
right.
a music video. Yo, Kim Jong
Hey, yo,
Un
hey, what do you-
talking all that shit.
Hey, yo,
Like,
Rocket Man,
yeah.
boom, I win. You know what I mean? It's just that's not how that works. So then he's like, you got ISIS, which is funny because we don't hear about them that much anymore. Even though I heard we're
Because they
supposedly
in the
winning a war.
Philippines. They're in
Yeah,
the
right.
Philippines.
They
Yeah.
move around. I mean, they in Africa too.
You know what, Eric? You make such a great point. Like ISIS
Yeah.
isn't hot anymore, and it's like, wait a minute, why is it?
You know why?
ISIS
'Cause
hot?
nobody's
Like,
talking
why-
about him, so
like
he's
the
not
whole,
gonna
like-
talk about him. That's just he works.
Yep.
Oh, and that's so scary. Yeah, that's
But
true.
he'll drop bombs on him.
True. We need somebody to get on Fox News so he can talk. He can tweet about it. So he
Yeah,
can be
I feel like the
topical
minute
again.
he dropped that bomb, what was it called? The mofo.
Mother of
what-
all bombs or whatever that bullshit was. Yeah.
Yeah, he did that, and he
Mother
was
of
like,
all
"Okay, I'm
bombs, yeah.
done," and then he just moved on. Because that was the last time I heard about any ISIS anything when he dropped.
I think you're
Oh,
missing one point. I
military
think
Uh-huh.
remember the attack on the Egyptian mosque.
Oh.
So they
Right.
came in,
Yeah.
they were shooting in the mosque, and I think it was bombs within there. So it was a multi-layered attack in Egypt, and then Egypt responded by bombing certain areas and things from that. And then the only thing that we heard outside of that was in the Philippines, there's ISIS fighters actually at war there as well. But that I thought was the latest of what was going on.
Okay, because I was on travel when that was going down, and the numbers was just rising. And didn't it go over 200?
And it was 300, yeah.
Oh damn! Well, yeah.
Yeah. And so just to as a comparison, earlier in the year there was a Syria
Yep.
thing and the chemical weapons. I think some children lost their lives, or it was something, and the United States came and dropped the bomb, and that was the thing. Whereas in this one, will there be like a big response? Like, in other words, is it just tied to media coverage? Is this the typical, okay, this is sensational, versus, well, people don't like mosque anyway in the United States.
So they didn't make a big
So,
deal, yeah.
Like in other words, is media driving Trump's military policy, which is crazy to think about, versus national security versus they're talking shit on CNN. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's to me one thing that is that I find perplexing. Just again, this is all for me circling back to the whole North Korea thing. It's like
So what? So what's next? What happened? Because this is what's gonna happen, right? So they're gonna keep shooting off missiles. Missiles are gonna keep happening. Let's just say every 2 months, they're gonna shoot off missiles. It's probably gonna be one tomorrow, right?
Okay.
What do you do?
Great
Like,
question.
what would Obama do?
China.
How about that?
So Obama wouldn't have allowed it to get to this point. So I think Obama would have been having the
Where Obama-
conversation and behind the scenes saying, look, if y'all want some fucking bread and food, I'll hook you up, man. Just stop shooting this shit around. And then he'll tell China, look, man, let them know I'm a good guy.
What? Hey, why
Yeah, I know.
Obama sound
Look,
like you're talking to
motherfucker,
dudes in the project?
I want you in front of the man. Stay away from in front of the door. My mom works here. She lives here, dog.
No, you gotta stop. Yo, first of all, you good?
Yeah,
You good over there? All right, you good? All right. Well, look, check this out. Look, you shooting off bombs. Well, why? Like, you know what I mean? What you need? You need gas? What's up? Because we gonna cut that off if you don't stop fucking around.
No, they fucking dissing me, man. Ain't nobody dissing you, yo. What's the matter?
All right, check this out. I won't say a damn thing about you if you just stop shooting the missiles off. You good? South Korea calling, and then China's over there pissed. But you know, they're the ones that are gonna cut your lights off if you don't stop fucking around.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Baby, yeah,
Yep.
it's like the same conversation.
I mean, for real. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, do you want the power company to cut off your power? What about your gas? Do you want to destroy everything, or do you just want to are you just fucking with me because my feelings ain't hurt? Like, what's up? You know, do you want to fight? Because if you do, the missiles are just like you just poking. Like talk to me. You know,
to me. What's up?
Yeah.
And that's about Obama thing. So I think it have never got to the point of these threats. I don't think it would have got to the point of all of these missile launches. It wouldn't have got there. It would have been some conversations, and he would have probably want attention, to your point. But I don't think Obama would have been up front, even talking about North Korea in that way. He would dismiss what they were talking and doing, unless a missile went out, and he'll say, "Look, we're talking to them. You know, they understand that nuclear missiles." He would go through a process. You wouldn't be seeing it like you do now. You're just poking the fucking bear. And even though there may be, again, what you said earlier, they can wipe North Korea out. At what expense? At what expense? And then you said, Iran saying, look, I gotta have weapons. Look at this crazy motherfucker. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So what that's gonna do is there's so much beef in the Middle East. Well, if Iran has this and I need that, and then there's so much, that's you're gonna have another arms race.
Yeah.
And then we didn't even talk about Russia and all this, because they just sitting back, just like, oh shit.
They created
what I mean?
this. That's what happened. They put Trump in office and they said, boom, there you go, and then they just let shit hit the fan, and then it works.
Yeah, so it's just, so when you ask what's next, I think, to your point, they're going to keep launching missiles. So what's the response going to be? I would say, see, the thing is, this when you think about what's government waste, in crisis, you see how important they are. For example, when other countries start inventing great shit and their economy start taking off, you're like, wait a minute. Why don't we have the best education, this and that? Because, Department of Ed is some bullshit. Y'all keep cutting the budget. And so then, in this case, what about the State Department? Diplomacy. Your motherfuckers only have like 30% staff, and then morale is low. And then Rex Tillerson thinks y'all dumb anyway. So it's just not.
Because he ain't got no help.
No, that's what I'm saying. Rex Tillerson thinks, like I'm saying, the White House State Department relationship isn't where it's supposed to be. So, like, realistically, them being able to execute real diplomacy, I'm a little skeptical. So that hopefully that works, but I mean, to be honest, that they might have to send Dennis Rodman again. I don't know. Like, real talk. They might have to,
I don't know. I don't know what team he's
the
on.
weird guy there.
I don't even know if he's on our team.
Yeah, we don't know what team he's on right now. You know what I mean?
He might commit some treason.
Yeah. He might be like, yo, just bomb them right quick and then bomb that country.
You're like,
hey, you know what you're going to do? I owe money to them, and them. Bomb that dealership on
So what's your precision look like? You know,
Right.
I know this dude that I'm beefing with.
How percent?
But I want to go back to a point you made about the Egyptian mosque, and I'm not sure if you was rearticulated it in this way or not. But if you notice, the president really ain't saying anything about it because he doesn't care about Muslims.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if you killing each other because it has nothing to do with him unless it's in the United States.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereby Obama, as a world agent, he would be saying, "What do y'all need?" And these people were sensitively done that. You would see him commenting on this because lives were taken,
Or
and we, in a sense, at war with ISIS as well.
if not him, there's going to be some movement in the White House, whether press secretary or State Department official. There would be probably something. But yeah, it's just basically it doesn't register because
Hmm.
on the victim scale, those aren't victims that need to be cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
same thing.
People of color.
Yeah,
Yep.
Texas,
Yeah.
Florida,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That's not one of ours, is it? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They owe us money.
yeah, they're always bullshitting. So maybe they'll
And
learn from this one.
all he keeps saying is they owe us money anyway.
It's like, bro, what?
The trend I've noticed, which is changing the whole game on how the presidency and the administration works now. They're like whenever they're behind the mic or at the podium, everything is based off of what they think, and it's not actually about actual facts. So when they say something like the press says, "Hey, so there was a bombing, and in Somalia, and what was the story where the officers or the soldiers got killed?
Right.
Um,
There's
the
two separate
fucking
stories though. There was
in
it was
in
Somalia. That was
Niger. Remember the
Niger,
soldiers in
Niger.
Niger?
Yeah, Niger.
yeah,
Yeah, and then there were, I think there was like there was a few officers that got killed, and then the press asked the Huckabee Sanders about just basically, I think it was just like, so tell us about that. Has the president called them? How do they feel? And then they would say something like, "Oh, well, we don't think this and we don't think that," and it's kind of like, um, you know, we don't care what you think. You know what I'm saying? Like they always
yeah.
say what they think when it's about the mosque, and the shootings that went on over there, the explosions that went on over there. It's, oh, we don't think this and we don't think that, and then every single time something goes down, let's go to something even lighter, like the LeVar Ball in China.
Yeah.
Not even that. Roy Moore.
Roy Moore,
What do you
yeah,
think
yeah.
about
Okay, we'll go to
Roy Moore?
politics. Yeah,
Oh, well,
I don't.
I think
Mhm.
we need to talk about Hillary. I
Yeah.
think we need to do. I think we need to da 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 da.
Yeah, yeah.
da.
Actually, it said I don't think the women. I don't believe in the women. Or we don't believe in the women that were saying that we stand by Roy Moore. And it was like, what are you like? We don't care what you think.
Versus,
Like that's
yeah,
not
versus.
even a
Okay, wait a minute.
But-
Did the mall ban him back in the 80s?
Right.
Okay, there's some documentation.
But
Okay, he's a freak.
but on the
No.
other hand, they believe
Uh-huh.
all of the women that's against the actual Democrats.
Oh, Franken, right?
Franken
Yeah, that
and
works.
what's the black brother?
oh
Bruh, I don't know, but he nasty apparently too.
yeah.
What you
I
say?
mean,
No.
the thing is, they
No,
probably
Mike.
did it though. I mean,
Mike.
I don't even know, but yeah, I forget his name now. But didn't he step down? I think
No, he
down.
stepped down from
Oh, the committee.
the committee that he was on. He was a head of one of the committees, and he stepped
He
down.
just volunteered. That was all. Yeah, he's like,
No, Mike, you sent a hell of an article today. It's a crazy read.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You want to talk about that one?
So I kind of read through it, and it was something that I thought was going to happen. So the article was about a woman who went to, I think it was the New York Times, and what she went to them was about, I was impregnated by Roy Moore, and this is a story I like to tell. And come to find out, she was lying, and she's part of a committee of people who trying to show that the news media is putting out false information. But they rejected her and followed her as to a place. You know, I don't have the article up, but they followed her somewhere.
To a building, and I was like, wait a
What
minute.
kind of fucking building is this? And but it was a organization that built themselves on, look, we we're trying to make the media look bad because we know. And she appears to be part of an undercover sting operation. So yeah, they was part Washington Post. So she went to the Washington Post and she wanted to embarrass them by saying, look, if they took it, and she had an abortion back in 1992, and she wanted to see if they would actually take it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they were smart enough to say, yo, this bitch is lying. And it went from there. I was like, wow, is this really going on?
I believe it.
No, but
I bet it was a reaction, versus it was happening before. I bet it was shit was going down, and they were like, "All right, look, we got to jump in there and put the story out or something like to show that." Well, okay, there's so many different levels to it. That's what makes it so confusing.
Yep.
You go in there, you make it that look, I'm gonna lie to them, and then they say that and then when Trump says, "Oh, the media is just lying," then they have something to prove that they were. And then they use that later on when they need to.
So they hold it, you know what I mean? To your point.
Yeah,
they hold it and say, we got it, we hold it. Soon as they put it out there, then we'll say, no, we have proof. This is an example of how the media put out false information. They'll never say, because I'm going to put it out there, it was Project Veritas. Yeah, VE.
No, they got caught up before, though. That's not the first time. That's what they do.
A group that uses false cover stories and covert video recordings to expose what it says is media bias.
Fake news,
so
basically.
They do it. They give fake news to, put out that there's people putting out fake news, which is like pretty. That's what do they call that when you sell somebody crack who doesn't smoke crack? And then the cops arrest you for that shit.
Shit. Sound like a setup.
Well, it's a setup, but there's a
I know there's
what is
entrapment.
Starts with a C, but it'll come to me. But what you're doing is you're setting someone up to commit a crime, but you're making them commit a crime, and then you arrest them for something that coercion. But it was a lot of that in New York that was going on. That they was kind of like, hey, you want some of this? Nah, man, I'm good. Come on, man, I don't want to smoke this alone. And be like, yo, but I don't normally don't smoke. Well, this is the best shit. It was like, look, man, I'll just take 2 puffs. You're under arrest. You're smoking them. You were like, what the fuck? So it was a lot of that. And that's what this is, almost like a crime to commit a crime. And then they blame you for the crime that you was involved in, even though you was already wrong from the beginning. Just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But this, now again, it's not like this haven't been going on. But it's so intentional now.
It was. I'm not gonna lie though. The way the Washington Post wrote that article was like, it was low key, just straight like, y'all just gonna try us like that? Like, we ain't journalists. We ain't gonna find out.
Following you?
Yo, Marquez. Yeah, I was like, they wrote it like a little spy novel. I was like, look at you, Washington Post.
Still got some people there.
Like, yeah, I was like Lawrence Tate. No, what's that movie? Nobody Mendes. That's basically how they was writing the article. Y'all just gonna try us? Think we ain't gonna do
the
shit?
Post is good
No,
though. The Post, they racked up a couple years ago when the Amazon owner jumped in there. So, I mean, when they post something, when they publish anything, they're on point. Them and the New York Times is pretty good.
So those two is the two prominent that really does the journalism.
Yeah.
They were slacking because people weren't reading newspapers, but because of the environment, I think they're doing better.
Very good.
And anybody who wants to look at the other side, like, I know I'm progressive on things, but again, looked at the Wall Street Journal because I want to see the other side, and news is pretty. They report news with some bias, but it's okay. Their opinion pieces are just straight trash.
Mhm.
It's all just right slant with no explanation. So if
Yeah.
you're trying to get educated, I'm fortunate so that I used my student deal while I could. So if you're a student, you can get it for like $35 a year. It's really cheap. But if you got to pay full price, skip it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's just it's a more classy Fox
Damn.
News. Yeah, with the news, the business stuff is okay.
Yeah.
But get Bloomberg if you need a business thing.
Yeah. Bloomberg.
So
Yeah.
I want to segue that into the Consumer Protection Agency. So you heard about that, right? So
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Obama
Obama was like, "Look, I'm done with this shit. I'm fucking retiring." So the head guy said, "I'm fucking out of here." And so Trump was like, "I'm going to put in somebody who doesn't fucking like the Consumer Protection Agency." But according to the rule, it's supposed to be for the deputy director to take the spot. But then there was a small little caveat that said, "But the president still can put in who they want."
Yeah. Well, hold on. Didn't they say the Republicans wanted to get rid of it altogether? That was what they were first trying to do, and then they figured, okay, let's just go ahead and change who
And
the
let's
director
destroy it.
is, and then right
Yeah.
now but then they're trying to fight. Okay, how about we just find somebody that just takes over it and just pretty much just dismantles it in some way. But there's now two heads.
Yeah, it is.
Or something
It
like
is.
that. And then there's like
I'm
They
the
both
boss.
talk
Nah,
about I'm the
nah.
boss.
Yeah. And they're sending emails out to the staff, and they're both basically like, "Don't listen to him. No, listen to me." And it's like, hey,
You know how annoying
Wait,
that
what?
is? You gotta show up to work.
If-
Hey, be at work at 8:30. No, be at work at
No,
9.
but I brought you
Right.
donuts because you know he
shit.
brought donuts his first day, right? He had a whole bag of fucking
Oh, word?
donuts that he brought in, and told his staff that I'm the man.
that's cool.
And the other chick was like, "Fuck those donuts. You know I'm the fucking person in charge."
I could just see him knocking the whole thing over.
Oh, it's just like
Coming in there and smacking the donuts all over the
like
floor.
shit on the
Okay.
floor. Yeah,
Fuck outta
like,
here.
Fuck your donuts.
You're box-
Hey, you know what's funny? You know the staff got to be sitting there sending messages
Yup,
to
he's
each
like,
other.
"Yo, did you see old boy came in there with them fucking donuts? Yeah." And she was like, "Yo, who the fuck is this dude coming in here?" And I told her, "Look, I'm not gonna eat the donuts." And
Yeah.
yeah,
They're already picking teams,
fucking
like Team
Android and
iPhone,
shit.
Team whose side you
Hey,
on?
so the Democratic Congressman
you know,
is John Conyers. That's his name. John Conyers. So, you know,
That's okay,
the black
yeah.
brother, the smooth brother with the fucking shit. And he was like, "Yeah, I was grabbing some ass, but I settled out of court. So stop bringing that shit up."
He's old too, ain't he? Like 80?
Yeah. He's like one of the oldest dudes on there, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he might as well just be like, "Look, that was a long time
Yeah.
ago. Look at me," you know. And then they're like, "Okay, all right, you old, yeah." Like,
Yeah, you old. But any chance that the Republicans could say, "You're just as bad as us," I said, "No, not quite. Not quite."
nah, at least because they can own up to it, man. I mean, the Democrat, like, what's his name? The guy we were just talking about, Al Franken.
Franken? Yeah.
Like,
So we thought it was one.
oh,
It's a
But
bunch
something
of
happened.
chicks now, yo.
I had a couple. And
He know what he's
didn't really
doing.
deny the other ones.
It's kind of
either.
like, look, when I was a comedian, I got ass all the time.
that's what he should say.
So, sorry. All I can say is sorry, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, but you know, don't get it. Don't. It
Right.
can't be
no,
assaulting.
he needs to play the Trump card, man. Like, look, I was a celebrity, like straight up. Like, I'll show you clips of me. Like, you know, my life was pretty good. That's
And the
enough.
shit that I wrote, you know, I wrote comedy
Google me?
and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, women threw
I don't
stuff
think
at
that's
me.
good for the Democrats
Yeah,
to
okay.
align themselves with a fucking psychopath. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, not a line. I'm just saying use his,
Yeah.
you know, his whatever scheme, whatever his, because he was authentic. Or I'm saying was, like, he's not now. Like, I'm talking Trump. Like,
Mhm.
he just keeps it, well, his kind of 100. But you know, I don't know, man. You're right. I'm not saying a line, but he could just be honest and then move on. But then at the same time, say
he's
that you can,
trying to do that.
Right,
But
but-
they're not letting him because they kind of like, nope, this is an opportunity.
oh, but that's not going to stop. No, the Republicans are relentless. That's not going to stop. But what he can do is say, I want them to investigate me, keep investigating me, and I'm just going to keep working. I'm not going anywhere,
Yeah.
but I keep everything public, and apparently that's unprecedented. So whenever anything comes out, just put it out there. Like,
Just say, yep,
be honest.
that was me.
Yep, I know who
I
that is.
apologize.
I apologized to her, and she accepted my apology. You know, and I'm here whenever you want to talk about it. But I'm a senator, and I'm here for the people,
Yep.
and this is what I've done to help people. And then let time fix it. Give it like 6 months, and then everybody's gonna be like, "Damn!" But and he's like, "Yeah, but he owned up to it." Boom.
Yep, he straight up owned up to it. And
I
just
mean,
went for
that's
fucking-
the best case scenario, by the way. So that.
Bill Burr has had a great bit about that when he was like, "Yo, the Trump guy's wildin'." He'd be like, "You know what?" And he was like, "Don't apologize and all that stuff." He was like, "Yeah, that's what I do. I have a couple of drinks, I go off on the broads, and then get back to work." In terms of he was talking about Rosie O'Donnell and this and that, it was like yeah, he just I rant and raved and yeah. So it's kind of like the same idea of yeah, you know, sometimes I write
yeah, but I
comedy,
feel on a little, but I
then I feel on some
kiss
booty,
women
and then
are
I get
beautiful
back-
because they want to be with me. I didn't know they didn't want to be kissed, but I'm okay with that now.
Yeah.
You know, 10 years later, you're telling me you didn't want to be kissed. I didn't know that then. Look out for our next episode of Repo Rethink Politics, where we discuss sexual harassment and close out with our predictions of the wilding out of the political scene.